Okay, so we're going to be making this top to go on top of the gharrara. I'm going to be cutting this out now. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see the cutting out because no matter how hard I try, you cannot see the marks because of the print off, but I will just try and describe it as much as I can so that you can sort of grasp an idea. So the length of this is not going to be too long. We're going to make this about, we want it ready about 26 inches in length. I'm just going to keep it just slightly longer because by the time I've taken everything into, even if it's slightly more, I've got to turn the final edges and so on at the end. So I want to make it slightly bit longer. So I'm going to initially keep this about 27, maybe 27.5 inches in length. Now the way we're going to mark this is after we've marked off the length, we're going to cut it obviously this way down because the pattern falls in one direction. We've got to work out how far the neckline is quite lengthy. So the first marking we're going to do is at 22 inches we're going to mark off for the neckline. And then it's basically quite a wide round neckline which is going to go up to a point of about 5 inches in. So mark it 5 inches and then make a curve of the round. I don't want this exact because I am going to, what I'm going to do is use some, maybe, well actually, has it got piping? Yeah, it's got piping, so we're not going to bother with, I'm just going to pipe around all the edges. Then going across on top of the shoulder, we've got, there is another thing that's actually striking me about this. Okay, we're going to make this strap piece quite long. So the initial length was 26 inches, 27.5 inches, but we're going to take this roundness further up. It's a straight line that I'm going to go up about 4 inches past the mark of the initial. So the neck length, I have got this at about 10 inches going down, and then 2 inches, 3 inches going across. And this is quite a really long neckline, what you're going to see, but don't worry about that because what's going to happen is I'm going to turn that, that's not going to work. Do you know what? I've started cutting it. I'm going to cut it and I'm going to see if it works. I'm not quite sure if this is going to work. So 3 inches back up, and then I'm just going to take this to curve for the slight bit of an armhole. Now the thing is that I want to take this to go around the back of the neckline too, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to work or not. So basically I want this one, okay, just disregard that. I've cut that quite long. I'm going to leave it dangling because I'm not fully decided if I'm going to carry that out or if that's going to work. Okay, below the armhole, I've cut that armhole. The length of the actual armhole is about 5.5 inches, and then marking down from there, we're going to do about 3.5 inches, slightly curved to make the shape of the dress, and then we're going to go back to the bottom. So at the bottom, we'll mark this out. Now once I've cut this out, I'll explain again what it is that I've done. So 6 inches across, we're going to mark this, and then as we go up about 9 inches, we're going to slightly make it less, and then meet up those two lines at a slight bit of an angle. And then we're going to go up a further 5-6 inches, and we're going to even go further in, and then we're going to keep to that same level, and then we're going to turn this to blend in with that line, and we're going to cut. So now the way you're going to be able to see this better is like this. So basically what we've got is two pieces. This is double folded on the grain line. This was the initial intention. I don't want the seam going on top of the shoulder, and that's the reason why I made the neckline really long. That's the armhole, and then we're going to add another piece to this, which is going to be slightly wider as it goes down, and we're going to pipe this area so that it's similar to what we have in the picture, and then it's going to have splits to about here. So now what we're going to do is try and measure. I'll lay this open so you've got an idea of what this is meant to look like. Now the chances are that once we've added the piping over here, we're going to slightly cut this down a bit more because this is too wide on the chest. But once we've done all the piping around here, once we've done the piping here, it's going to give us more of an idea of what this dress is going to look like and how much we need to sort of trim away from there, and to give it shape, whether we need to cut slightly deeper into the armholes and so on. I would advise, especially because of Jamawar fabric, I would advise to actually cut it slightly more than less. Okay, so now we're going to try and cut the two pieces that are going to go on the side of. Now what you're going to do is, actually, if I put this wrong way around, maybe you can see it. Can you see a little bit better? Not really. Now the way we're going to do this is that bit the shape has to come from the top. So the bottom, there's some parts over here which are going to get disregarded, but we're going to lay this like this, and we're going to mark out. So by laying it out like this, let's find a chalk that you can perhaps see a little bit better. I'll go for quite a bright green, fluorescent green. I don't think, no matter what I try, you still will have difficulty seeing this because it's not bright enough. Now I can't give you the precise measurements because here even I'm not sure of just how much of the measurements I'm applying. But basically that was the offcut from the initial piece. Now let's see if this works. Right, yeah, that looks perfectly fine. And what we're going to do is, after we've there isn't really that much of a shape because it's supposed to slightly widen up as it goes out, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Is that will this will come on that side, and then you've got that going on there. So at the bottom the dress is going wider, and here we are going to have to shape it quite a bit because this is going to be too wide around here, but that's not a problem because I would rather have this wide than narrow. These pieces are absolutely perfect, but what I'm going to do is when I add the piping, then I will add this piece, I will add the piping, then add that piece, overlock this, trim that to size, and if I have to, we can always take a little bit out from there to give the kameez a little bit of a tighter, you know, look to it. So that's something that, you know, isn't a problem. Okay, so now we're going to go on to cutting the two back portions. The side panels are going to be exactly these, so we will use this piece over here that's been left over. We might have to slightly go up. Right, don't take that much away. Now the best way to actually understand this particular piece is if I lay this on a grid mat and give you some kind of definition. So what we've got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 inches wide there. It's a straight piece there. 5 inches is maybe 5-6 inches going up is straight, and then it's narrowed down until it's curved all the way to the finishing. So it's just like a, what is it? What kind of a shape can I describe? It's like a piece that you take out from, I don't know which portion of the kameez or salwar is it that you take out a piece like this. Anyway, the proof is going to be in the finishing, which hopefully we're going to get to once we've got the back one cut as well. Now I am going to, because I've got to get a certain amount of this fabric for the bottom trim. Okay, back. Now I made a little bit of a mistake here. What I should have done was taken the back out prior and then taken the pieces out from here, but then you can't do this in the wrong way either because of the fact that it's right. Okay, I think what we're going to have to do is, initially I cut this as a piece out, but I'm going to have to do I have a problem because I have got to take out so many pieces for see, I thought I bought enough. Okay, we're gonna come back to it. Okay, so I had a crazy night. I did most of this stitching during the night, and then I was too tired to record. Anyway, I'll give you a preview of what I've done. I cut off abruptly in my last portion of the video because what ended up happening was whilst cutting these, I ended up running short and the fabric was not enough, so I had to cut the back panels. And this is where, when you do it yourself and you're willing to put a little bit effort into it, and you're actually sort of show confidence and that you can do it, then you know there's always a way out. So if I give you a little bit of a close-up of what it was that I did. Basically, when I was cutting, I needed to take out enough pieces to do the edging of the bottom of the sharara, bottom of the gharrara. So I had to take 6 pieces out like this, and then when I worked it out, I couldn't take 6 pieces out because I was being left with pieces and the back panel wasn't coming out. So it meant, was I going to have loads of pieces in the bottom of the gear? Now this fabric does fray a lot as well, so you have to be very careful. So rather than choosing to have loads of pieces in that, I chose to have pieces on the back. So I had to combine a piece here, and I had to combine a piece, and then within that piece I had to put another little piece. Now because of the patterns and so on, you can't really tell. Even if you could, this could end up looking like a feature. So if for any reason you get stuck right at the end and you think, oh my god, it's not enough, you can put a split there, you can pipe that and make it look like a feature. So there is really no need to panic. You could put a bow there, you can put a contrasting material, you know, the world's your oyster. You can always play around and actually do it to however you want. And now I cut bias strips, added them there on both the sides, then took these pieces and added them on, and now all I've got to do is overlock these pieces, because once I've pressed it, it's set very nicely. I measured it this morning and I need the length of this slightly decreasing. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to cut it because I don't want to shorten it. I want her to get wear out of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like a stay stitching there, and then I'm going to do another I'm going to turn this over on the machine, or I'm going to overlock it, and then where I've turned it on the stay stitching, you know, that string, I'm going to slightly pull it so that I'll decrease the length, and then I'm just going to turn it over, and I want to do tarpai because I want to take about 3 inches at the bottom of this, but then I want to be able to lengthen it again after she's grown a little bit. It's such a beautiful outfit. I don't want her to wear it just a couple of times. Done the exact same to the front, added the bias cut. This is a bias cut piping, and then I've trapped dory inside it, changed the foot on the machine, attached the piping all the way through, added the outer side piece, pressed it, and then this was quite wide, so I've folded it and I've ironed it again because I'm going to leave that as an extra as well. So in case I need it slightly widening as well, I can actually, you know, this is like my play around fabric as well. So, you know, once I place this on top of each other, I could, you know, get the exact right place as well. Now there is a slight, I mean, what you can do is, if you feel, one reason I kept it slightly long was that if I felt that I needed to make it shorter, then I can take from the top as well. But I'm going to leave this as it is. What I will do now is I will add piping to that, I will add piping to all of this, I will add piping to that, and piping all the way down, and then I'm going to overlock it. So the piping that I'm going to use, basically, even though I haven't done like the full recording, I'm explaining it, and you can follow the guidelines, and that should actually be good enough. Now what we're going to do is cut about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches of bias cut binding, and we want 2 of these. I don't want to put pieces in, so what we'll do is I will cut 2 of these, and then we'll attach that using the. Now the neckline, next, after I've cut this, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do with the neckline. I've got limited time. I had limited time. I was working till 2 in the morning. I was so exhausted by the end of it. I didn't have the strength to actually, energy to record at that time. Now we'll put that to a side. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the neckline. Basically, we're going to take that fabric, do you know, I'm going to create like a gathers like this, and press this, and I'm going to do the exact same, like cut 2 of these square square pieces, okay, like handkerchief pieces. So cut 2 like handkerchief pieces. This is, put the dupatta to a side. That's dupatta. Now for the sharara, all this is the bottom ending, and I've 2 pieces. I've finished them off, edged them off. I need to do the pleating in them, but I'll leave that to a little bit later. And then I've also got 2 further pieces that I'm going to be pleating and then attaching one to the other. Now I've also got this piece, which I'm going to cut another one of these handkerchiefs from, and we're going to design the neckline. And I will pleat this, and then I'll show you exactly what I did to create the pleating for the neckline. So for the moment, what we're going to do is take this and pipe it all the way down to the bottom. The way I'm going to pipe that, very simple method. It's a similar method to, obviously you've seen me use many a times. We're going to trap this on the inside, seam that facing the outer side all the way. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that on the neck, but then here I'm going to use a slightly different method. So yeah, no, yeah, we're going to use the same method, but we're going to open this up. So we're going to attach it and then go all the way down as well. So when we turn this over, all this that will show is just the piping. Yeah, so inshallah we're going to quickly do that, then come back and